Okay, so like a year ago, I would say it was about a year ago, maybe a tad bit longer, not much longer, probably maybe 13 months ago or 12 months ago. Like, I woke up and, anyway, it was not there when I went to bed, and, I don't know, it's like I had this, like, hemorrhoid or something on my booty, and it was like about one half the size of this hot tamale, and it felt kind of oblong, like, you know, like one half, you know, like this is pretty big, a hot tamale, but man, even if you have one half this size, kind of oblong, that's still pretty freaking big, especially when, you know it wasn't there the night before. And so apparently either, I don't know if it was the Reptilians that probed my ass or the Greyz. But there is, okay, there is this group of Greyz, and there's at least 2 of them, maybe 3, but I know there's at least 2. That they'll come ever so often. I don't know if they've came in a while or not, because sometimes they might come and not leave any evidence behind. But most of the time, they only mess with me when I'm just totally sleeping and out of it, and they don't want me to know that they're messing with me. But they always leave like bruises behind or something like that. But you know, I'm sure once in a blue moon they may not leave any bruises and stuff behind. They left bruises on my legs and my arms before. So anyway, so it could have been that group of Greyz that came and probed my ass or something. I mean, I'm sure they, like, this is the only time I ever know of that they've done that, which was about a year ago. And, like, I don't know if they've, you know, done that before, you know, when I was younger or whatever. I mean, I'm sure they probably have. I just wasn't conscious of it. So, yeah, so, I mean, I've never had hemorrhoids or anything like that. And, so I know they probed my ass. I know they did. And so I kept talking to them, and I was like, if you did this, you better make it go away, you know? Well, sure enough, because I thought once you get them, I thought they can't really go away. That's what I thought. Because I think they're like, the way I understand it, they're like a vein or something. And once they just kind of pop out like that, I heard that they can't really, I don't know, I just heard that that they don't really get curable or whatever. But anyway, so I was talking to them because I knew they had to have probed my ass, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, I kept talking to them, and I was like, if you did this, you better make it go away. So sure enough, it took about 10 days, but it did completely go away after 10 days. And like I said, I was a little bit shocked because I thought once you get those that they just don't go away. But anyway, so it did go away, probably because I threatened them. And like I said, it could have been that group of Greyz that always comes ever so often, and because I caught them on video, I mean on a tape recorder, and they were making all sorts of noises, you know, while they were tampering with me, and I was like, you know, like moaning and shit, because they were like flipping me over or whatever. I don't know what they were doing to me, but, and yeah, it was really interesting, and I know there was at least 2 of them. Maybe 3, but there's at least 2 of them, and they were communicating to each other. That was back like in 2013, 14, when I got them on video, because sometimes I haven't done it in a while, I haven't, but sometimes, yeah, entities will talk and shit in your bedroom. I haven't put on my tape recorder in a while, but anyway, so like, okay, so in real life, you know, they probed my ass a year ago. So, oh yeah, but anyway, these entities, the Greyz, they sounded like hummingbird. That I heard like a buzzy noise, like a buzzy noise, like when they were trying to, like, I don't know, communicate to each other, and then also like flapping of, it sounded like bird wings, dove wings, or I can't remember what makes that noise, like doves or pigeons. But anyway, yeah, and like I say, they normally always leave physical evidence behind. So that's why I'm thinking it could have been that group of Greyz that always comes when I'm totally sleeping and they don't want me to know. And that kid had probed my butt a year ago and caused a hemorrhoid right when I woke up. And so anyway, so like, but it wasn't sore or anything, and yeah, I wasn't sore at all. Like, it wasn't sore. I wasn't sore internally or anything like that. And so anyway, so I was asking for, you know, out-of-body experience by Joel or whatever. So I got one last Saturday by 7 a.m. Because I tried to go to bed kind of early, and I did, and I got an experience by 7 a.m. because I woke up about 7 a.m. and I already had the experience. So anyway, Joel, and about exactly a year ago, I did in real life, I went to the ER doctor because I screwed up my chin. I just like, bam, came down on the fucking concrete. And I don't know how it didn't scar, but it didn't scar at all. I mean, I came down freaking hard, and I swear to God, I think it like adjusted my jaw. Or I don't think it really did, but it just kind of seemed like it did for a while. I think I was just kind of paranoid, but I mean, I don't know how your jaw is that. I don't know how I didn't break my jaw, but I didn't. But I did in real life. In real life, I got the hemorrhoid. In real life, I went to the ER doctor a year ago. And, now the ER doctor was not a gay guy. He was a straight guy, and he was pretty nice. I don't see how they do that job, but I mean, to them, I mean, it's like just going to a motel and working at a motel and changing beds every day or whatever. I mean, it's just weird. I mean, I couldn't do that job. I don't see how they do it. Because I was like, does my chin look pretty bad? Because it was pretty deep, you know, pretty deep gash. And he's like, well, I mean, yeah, it's pretty bad, but I mean, I've seen legs off, arms off, you know, heads blown off, and it's just like, I don't know how they do it. A lot of them are probably gray hybrids, but that work and, you know, can be able to see. A lot of them are just sadistic. That's why they can handle seeing blood and stuff. And, you know, of course, if they're a gray hybrid, they would be able to handle to see blood and all that. But anyway, so, okay, so, and two, in the experience, Joel because just the night before I had the experience, the out-of-body experience, lucid virtual reality out-of-body experience, I did that video about implants or whatever, and smells, alien created smells and implants. And I was looking at the implants on YouTube, that little long implant right there. And see, if you see that one right there, it looks black. And because I was, you know, because this one guy said the girlfriend had an implant taken out and it was completely black. And my sister has an implant in the nape of her thumb, and it's like a ball. But if you protrude it through if you kind of push it through the skin, you know, I could totally see where if they removed that, it would be totally kind of black looking. So anyway, I already had that on the brain. So, and the experience when the ER doctor gave me that little dose of this really strong numbing medicine smell, and it seemed like a really, you know, familiar smell to me. Well, that was virtual reality, that part. But anyway, so he gave me, that's why he gave me about an inch long. It looked like a little implant, because he took that from my brain and he made it like it was the medicine, you know, that the ER doc gave me. Because that's funny. They're funny, man. They take all these little quirky bits and pieces and they create the lucid dream for you, or virtual reality out-of-body experience for you. And lucid dreams are out-of-body experiences, but I can talk about that later. Okay, so anyway, so this is how it started. I was hanging out, and it's like I was in a car, but I don't remember seeing the car, and I had to go to the ER doctor. And it was like as if I got off work up here at the street. You know, in real life, you know, they duplicate streets and everything for your experiences. So I was okay. Now I'm talking about, you know, the out-of-body experience, lucid virtual reality experience. Okay, so I was up at the street, kind of near where I worked. And I was hanging out in a vehicle, but I don't remember, it's like I was driving, but I don't really remember driving or seeing the vehicle. I was kind of going down the road, and it was 5 o'clock, 5 p.m., and I was like, okay, I need to go to the ER doctor. And it was like I got off work, except I kept having the high school, which the high school was right behind me. I kept having the high school in my brain as well. And so anyway, I get to the ER doctor, and I'm sitting down in a, or kind of laying down, and the medical. The ER room, it was kind of small, and so finally the doctor came up, and he was a gay guy. The gay guy doctor, Joel's always putting gay people in my experiences. So anyway, the gay guy doctor came up to me. He was kind of an asshole, and he did kind of look somewhat like this guy, except a little older. He looked somewhat like him, except older. And I was just telling him about how I had a hemorrhoid, and he was trying to insinuate. He was trying to ask me. He was trying to insinuate like was I married? Like insinuating, do I get butt fucked all the time or something? And I'm thinking, no, that's what you guys do, So anyway, but yeah, these beings, I mean, they're like totally perverted. I mean, they'll bring the most perverted stuff out. But, most straight women in real life, they get butt fucked all the time because that's just, the men are programmed by the Matrix to do that. And they feel like they have a right to do that. Nobody's going to treat me like that, but I'll butt fuck them with a dildo or something. You know what I'm saying? But anyway, I'll butt fuck them up the ass. But anyway, but he was kind of, but he was kind of like an asshole, and I was thinking, no, that's what you guys do, So anyway, he's like, here, I'm going to give you some medicine, and it looked like the little implant that I just had previously on my brain in 3D, like a little implant like that, about 1 inch long, and he's like, okay, we'll just kind of rub it on there, and then it'll just eventually disappear. And see, Joel took that from my brain as well and threw it in the experience, because in real life, it did disappear after 10 days. And so I kept rubbing it on there. And Joel, when I was doing that, Joel was doing some kind of virtual reality sexual stuff on me. But he in this experience, he didn't arouse me or anything. But yeah, he was doing like some virtual reality type of images and shit, which I can't. I'm editing that part out, but edit. Okay, so anyway, then it did actually disappear. Because I kept rubbing it, that little, the little implant thing with the medicine, this numbing. I mean, it was totally realistic smell. I totally smelled it. It was stronger than shit. I mean, it was strong. And very, very medicine-y, numbing kind of smell, a very familiar smell that I've smelled before, like at dentists or doctors or whatever. And so I kept rubbing it, when he gave me this little implant-looking thing with the medicine. And like I say, Joel took all these bits and pieces from my brain and stuck it in this experience. And it did finally disappear after I kept rubbing it. And like I say, I did smell it, and that part was totally virtual reality, because I could even eat things and taste things under these experiences. And like I say, it was total realistic medical type of smell. And that's not the first time I've smelled medical smells in 3D and altered states of reality. So anyway, finally he came. Okay, finally I saw him walk off. He walked off, and then Joel, he did a little virtual reality image on me where I couldn't see his head, but I only looked at his butt. Okay, he did have a white coat on. And then when he turned around and walked off into a bigger medical room, which was behind me, my head was up against the wall. The bed was, and he walked behind me into the big medical room, and then, but at that time, all I saw was his butt down, and it was so funny. And then it appeared as if he didn't have his gown on, or he lifted it up or something, and all I saw was it looked like a woman's butt and woman's legs. And he's done this many times before, put like homosexual shit in my experiences. Like, you know, I haven't talked about those one experiences like back to back, where he kept putting trannies and stuff in my experiences. But yeah, and it was so funny because like he walked off, but I couldn't see his head at this time. It's like Joel just made me see this image of like a woman's butt and legs, and he walked off like all feminine looking. But I didn't see his head or his back, just like the butt down as he walked off. Okay, finally he walked back in a few minutes later to see how I was doing, and I said, well, you know, I think it went away. And then he made me lay on my stomach. And I laid on my stomach, and I was so afraid he was going to, like, try to do something, like probe my ass or whatever. Or, you know, but he didn't. He didn't touch me at all because he trusted my word that it went away. And so I guess he just visually saw it, and he noticed that it did go away. So he didn't have to, like, try to probe around on my butt or whatever. And I was, because I was worried about that because he made me lay on my stomach, and I was afraid he was going to, like, do something. You know what I'm saying? Like something that didn't feel real good or hurt or something. But he didn't. And then so he just trusted me that, okay, that medicine, it did make it completely go away. And he visually, like, obviously looked at it and it went away. So then, okay, I'm trying to remember. I'm trying to make sure I didn't forget anything. There's a couple more things I have to say. Okay, so then all of a sudden, there was like a 25, 30-year-old woman that I had, that was my roommate. And she was sitting there, and she also, you know, was a patient. It's like a woman came into the scene and was laying there in the bed because she came in and you know, because most ER rooms or most hospital rooms, they have like 2 beds. And so she was about 28 or 30. And we were talking, and she did look kind of familiar to me, but I can't remember who exactly she looked familiar to me in real life. But she looked kind of familiar. And then, but the doctor acted like, okay, even though it went away and everything, you know, we still want to see how you are. I guess he thought that what the deal was, Joel put this scenario in my experience because back when, back when I had a big old, what do you call it? Not a hemorrhoid, a freaking, oh fuck, I forgot what they're called. Not a hemorrhoid, one of those big old things that's like way up in you. For some reason, I was bloating a lot way back then, and I just decided to go to gastroenterologist, and they found this like huge, I forgot what they're called. Not a hemorrhoid. I can't remember what they're called, but anyway, you know, those things can possibly turn to cancer. So anyway, they removed it in real life. And I think Joel put all of this in my experience because back then when I had that removed and I was at the doctor's office, he's like, you can't leave because the medicine may make you groggy. And it wasn't groggy. It didn't make me groggy at all. I wasn't groggy at all. And so my sister happened to be coming through town, and she took me home, and I left my car there at the medical office. But anyway, I think Joel put that in my scenario. Or that's why he put this in my scenario, where when the woman came into the scene, I started groggy under this medicine that made your hemorrhoid go away. And and I was like, I'm not going to wait here like 6-7 more hours, because he wanted me to wait there a long time in the bed. So finally, you know, I got up and bailed out of the ER room and left. But the woman, the 30-year-old woman, she was like, you're going to get in trouble and blah, 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 blah. Because I wasn't about to sit there and lay there for another 5 or 6 hours, because I knew I wasn't groggy. I could easily drive home. And like I say, I had that same situation in real life when I was 30 years old. I forgot what they're called, though. What the hell are they called? Not a pile, not a hemorrhoid. I forgot what they're freaking called. I'm going to have to look it up. This already went to the second part of the video, so I'm going to look it up. But anyway, you know, in real life, you know, I called the first doctor out of the blue, and the woman, I guess, you know, thought I sounded young or something and didn't take me serious. And she's like, well, the wait is like 6 months. Well, because, see, I was bloating a lot, and I just kind of had eating disorders back then. And anyway, so I called the gastroenterologist up, and the one thing that they always want to do is give you a colonoscopy. And they found this, it was big. He showed me a picture of it and everything, and he didn't put me out all the way either. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. But second time around when I had one back in 2011, or 12. She did put me all the way out. But yeah, it was weird. Back when I was 30 years old, he didn't even, his name was Dr. Bartlett, and he didn't put me out. And, but I forgot what they're called. Let me see what they're called. And anyway, this one nurse that I knew, she said, well, did it have a stem or not? And I was like, shit, I can't remember, because she said something about if they have a stem or if they don't have a stem, they will most likely turn to cancer. And I can't remember. But anyway, see, what after he, in real life, after he took that out, you know, but I wasn't groggy from that stupid medicine he gave me, but still, to be on the safe side, he didn't want me to drive home. And this is so funny, but my sister has like been, you know, I lived away, and she had so happened to be coming through town at the proper timing to bail me out several times out of situation. But let me see what, I can't think of that word right now, and I'm going to look it up, because it's already went on to the second video anyway. Oh, gross. No, it's not. What is that called? I can't. Oh, wait, I know what. I'll punch in colonoscopy and that should bring it up. And the nurse told me it takes 10 years to even get that big. Okay, I forgot that word. It's not hemorrhoid, it's not piles. It is called... polyp. That's what it's called. Man, at first I was thinking it started with an A for some reason, but yeah, polyp. I did have this huge polyp. I mean, it was like half the size of a golf ball. And of course, those you get like way up in the, you know, way up there. It's not like on your booty, you know what I'm saying? But yeah, it was a polyp. And like I say, in real life, I had a polyp, and that was like back 15 years ago. And he acted like you're gonna have to sit here, you know, for hours and hours and hours, and I'm like, you know, I'm gonna leave or whatever, but he wouldn't let me leave. And my sister happened to be coming through town, and I called her, and she came and got me and took me home. And the next day, I went to get my car. I can't remember who took me to. Oh, he wanted me to take a cab, and I was like, no, I'm not taking a cab. I was just real weird back then. I don't like being in strangers' cars. But yeah, it's called a polyp. And so, see, Joel, he put that in the scenario about this doctor acting like I had to wait several hours. And I'm like, screw you, so I bailed out. And that girl, the patient, my roommate patient, acted like, you're going to get in trouble, you're supposed to stay here for several more hours. If I forget anything, I'll put it in the description. Thanks for listening.